Hi, Rupert. How are you, dear?
Hi, Andrea. I'm doing very well, thank you. How are you today?
Good. Thank you for our wonderful conversation earlier today. We spent about an hour on the phone just chatting about everything. Peanut's a little scared right now because somebody in the neighborhood who is completely uh, just they just don't care. Okay, I guess that's just the way to put it. They know that there's a woman in hospice in this house and a woman in hospice across the street, and they don't care. So they're shooting off fireworks. So I apologize for it's okay, honey. I know it. I know it. It's the stupid human tricks. It is. It's okay. So what I am excited about is after our discussion this morning, I realized that the chances were really good that sometime in 2024, you would be right here in this house and have an opportunity to meet and fall madly in love with the Princess Peanut Buttercup and meet Sammy and meet my mother and my sisters and get absorbed into our family even more so than you have been in the time that we've known each other. And so that lifted me up and brought me some joy, some sense of looking forward, hopefully, to what the year holds. But what I wanted to do was talk about your work tonight and the strides that you are making in terms of making a difference in the field of study and research and experience that we share, what brought us together initially. And for anybody who's not a regular viewer of this show, of A World Awakening, I would have to say that you have certainly been my most frequent return guest because we have a very important message to impart. And even though I try to bring in an eclectic mix of people as the host, I want to expose our viewers to a wide variety of opinions and perspectives. I always gravitate back to you because what you're doing, what you're saying, who you are matters so much to the world that I just want to keep putting it out there and putting it out there. And I would have loved to have been with you this past weekend for Contact in the Desert, which is a very large, probably the largest UFO gathering of people in this country every year. And, you know, of course, I couldn't be there because I can't seem to go anywhere. But this morning we talked about that. And what I was happy about is that you got to meet a lot of the people that I know, that I am friends with, that, you know, really mean something in my life, including Serena, my friend, who's the producer, who I've made several films with, and Michael Mazzola, who gets on my last raw nerve, but he does it deliberately, so it's funny, and I tolerate him. I've allowed him to live, so you know that's a good thing. Um, and um, and you know, a whole bunch. Steve Bassett was there. There was a whole bunch of people there, and Serena turned over the Skywatch to you and had you basically run that part of the event that night and was very, very impressed with your ability to communicate with those who have either who qualified themselves, you know, labeled themselves as contactees or experiencers, or for those, more importantly, that want to make contact, and you become the conduit for that. So I'm sorry that I could not be there with you, but over the course of the rest of this year, we are going to do several events together, which I know are going to be fruitful and enlightening and inspiring for everyone who attends. So, closer to the end of this hour, we can talk about where some of those events are coming and announce that there will be some future things coming that we haven't even solidified yet in terms of itineraries and stuff, but some of that's already been done. So we can tell them where they can find us together. And I travel usually, I've only been away this year for, I think, 72 hours that I have been out of this house to go to Ohio. That includes my travel time in airports back and forth. Okay. It's all that I've done all year long, because it's been so important for me to be here. But um, I'm making arrangements so that we can have what we can have that time together and do what we're supposed to do, which is help awaken uh, a world of sleepwalkers who are right on the precipice and about to go into the chasm. And so, what's your perspective on all of this, Rupert? And are you looking forward to our time together and our events together as much as I am? As I sure do need it. I do.
Absolutely. Just being alive is such an opportunity.
Oh, well, there's that. Coffee makes me feel alive. My dog brings me joy. That's it in a nutshell.
Every second we live is an opportunity and a gift in so many ways. And, there are hardships, and you and I both feel those hardships. Empathic people feel the pain more than others of the world and people around us and animals, etc. But when I think about going to any convention, gathering of like-minded people who are interested in UFOs or in the paranormal, it's so exciting because it is actively it's actively living in a way that is colorful and exciting. And the people in our community, the people that you and I know, are such wonderful people.
Unbelievable. And what an eclectic mix. They couldn't be more different from each other than they are. And yet, what we have in common, the light and the love, just explodes when you walk into. I'm taking you, I'll just say it right now for everybody. There's going to be one last Upper Peninsula, Michigan Paracon, and it's this year. And I hope everybody who has ever attended that event comes this year, because you are coming as my guest, and to introduce you into that body of energy. And like I told you, it's like walking into a wall of love that just envelops you and embraces you. I've never experienced anything like it. It's like UFO contact on steroids, on mescaline. I mean, it's just because it's just so many people. And yeah, it's a little overwhelming. And yeah, I guarantee you're going to need to take some nap time. I guarantee you're going to have to say, I need to step away. I'll be back in an hour or so. And that's perfectly fine, because I will have to do the same thing. It's not that it's an energy drain, because you get back as much as you give of yourself to it, but it becomes energetically overwhelming, so that you have to have a little downtime, and everyone understands that. So that's one of our announcements tonight. But yes, go ahead, pick up where you left off, because you're right. It's the people in this field that gravitate to this like magnets, that are so fascinated and so curious and so eager to learn, so open to all of it, that it re-energizes, recharges, restores, and then we reflect on the experience.
Yeah. And you know, you've heard me say it before, but my vision is universal peace, universal love, universal happiness. And when we go to these events, it really is universal because you've got a diverse group of people coming in. It's also universal because this is us as human beings really trying hard, not just to understand what is out there, but to spread love to other beings, whether they are spirits in the spirit realm or extraterrestrials in distant galaxies. It's all about spreading peace, love, and happiness, and we're doing it in such a joyous and loving way. That for me, it's like it's everything. When we meet, everything is there.
Yeah.
Now, you did ask me to put together one or two little videos.
Yes.
If you like, I could give people a little bit of a taste.
Mm-hmm.
It's a 2-minute video,
Okay.
and it has clips, it has photos of what it's like to meet up at these events, to go on tour, go to conventions, and to reach out to advanced non-human entities.
Yes.
It is 2 minutes. Andre, if you get bored, just wave at
Yeah.
me, and
No, it's perfectly fine. I've seen it a number of times. I love it. It's just great. It's got its own energy. You did a wonderful job editing it.
Oh, thank you. And there's shots of you in here, photos and videos of you, so everybody can look out for those shots. There's also a cow in there. I wonder if anybody can see where it is.
That's so great.
Yeah.
It's just, because those are our people.
Uh-huh.
That's our tribe. Everybody talks about how, our society has gotten so tribal and it's broken down into two tribes. No, it isn't. We've got our own. We've got those among us who are just as excited, filled with wonder, filled with joy, just the notion, just the possibility, the plausibility that we are not alone in the universe and that we are communicating with off-world beings who are around us in numbers that we can't even wrap our minds around. You know it, and I know it. It's not a matter of belief for us, it's knowledge, because of experience, because of contact, because I don't know if we were chosen or, what the deal is. I still don't understand why me. I never asked for it. It just happened when I was a young child. And I've been what people now in the new age vernacular refer to as a contactee. But I think it's more than that. I think it's a cosmic connection that might very well involve my own DNA, might very well involve my lineage through my parents, both of whom have very strange eyes, both of them kind of green to lavender to hazel to blue to, their eye colors change much like you've seen it with me. You've seen when I get excited, my eyes just kind of do strange things. And we try to find a way to compartmentalize aspects of our lives and stick post-it notes on ourselves and label ourselves this or that. But what if we're everything all wrapped up in one organism? What if we're everything? What if we are what's out there and what's down here? What if we are heart and soul and mind and spirit? What if we are all tapped into one great cosmic consciousness that we share with other beings that exist simultaneously with us in this multiverse? What if? I think those are two very important words that people like us aren't afraid to ask.
Yep, absolutely. I agree. You know, Andrea, now that I have admin privileges here, now that Bill has given me those privileges, there are a lot of people out there, people we know, people we love, who are
Mhm.
sending us little messages. So
Oh, that's so nice.
I'm just gonna throw a few of them up if you don't mind.
Oh, no, that's fine.
I'd like to say hey to Marie.
I know Marie. Hello, my darling. I know that cat too. Oh,
Nikki,
very happy for
hello.
you, Nikki.
Thank you for being here.
Laura. Oh, she was with me on Soul School too with Jeff.
Was
I
she?
I love Laura. Oh my
Oh,
God.
fantastic.
And Terry,
Terry.
I love Terry. Oh, you must meet. If you don't haven't met her yet, you must meet her. She's extraordinary.
Um,
Oh, Melissa Blackman. Ah, she's our
yeah,
from Kansas City. That's where we met. You and I met in Kansas City.
absolutely. I'm going back there in September,
I
so
know, and I should be, but I can't. I can only squeeze so much into, one season. But Melissa, you're going to have to come and follow us around. We'll tell you where we're going to be. Find a way, bring a friend, get in the car, come.
there are a lot more people leaving comments, but we don't have time for that.
Well, I'll
Um,
check them out, and so will you when we're done with the show, and we'll go on YouTube and see in the comments and everyone. But please know, everyone that follows the show, everyone who has embraced Rupert as warmly as I have in my life, know that you are in safe space and you are with people who love you and believe you and really have a kinship with you. We are who we've been waiting for collectively. This is an incredible, extraordinary group of people. And Rupert, yeah, you're not ready for what's going to happen this. You are not ready. I know when you do your events, you sometimes have several dozen people that gather and collect with you in your different venues and stuff. That's great. Imagine walking in to a room of 1,500 people that all immediately come to your feet and love you just because you're there.
well, I am excited. I am looking forward to this. Now, something I didn't tell you yet, I indicated to you that I was going to do this, but after we had a chance today to look at our events that we're going to be collaborating on, I sat down for 2 or 3 hours and started to map out what I was going to do in order to get to all of the places
Mhm.
that we're going to collaborate. And I actually have put together a provisional. It's not complete yet, but I've put together a provisional schedule for August and September.
Mhm.
This is 2 whole months of touring for me. I'm going to get in my car on August, probably August, 2nd, and not return home for 2 months. So everything in there, apart from the very last one, which is September 11th, I'm not sure when that's gone there at the end. But I'm going to be going through California, Arizona, New Mexico, Texas, Louisiana, Arkansas, Mississippi, Alabama, Indiana, and that's where I'm meeting up with you
Mhm.
in Indiana. Um, are there any events that you would like to promote now that you're going to be doing from that point on?
Well, I want to arrange it the best that we can so that uh, we can do some rather spontaneous events. I also I did not have a chance to speak with Greta today, who, is like functions as my brain and keeps my life kind of on track. I don't know what I would do without Greta, without Lynn and Jeff, and without Aaron. I just don't know what I would do. I wouldn't be able to keep it all organized. I wouldn't be able to get from point A to point B without some assistance, and they're just the most wonderful, giving, loving people in my life. Um, but I really very much want to get you to Rhode Island for Halloween, and get you to the farmhouse. And I want Lynn and Jeff to be there. And I want to, put the word out. Once I speak with the owner, Jacqueline, and we set a time, an event, or 2 days or whatever, and then I want you to come to New Jersey with me and be there for the Para Unity event, which is the last event for me for the year. And somewhere in there, I have to squeeze in a very compact, quick trip to California to do some filming. But I've got a feeling that that's going to be pushed toward the end of the year, because I don't know what's going to be the scenario here. And it's difficult when I travel because other arrangements have to be made for someone else to be here with my sister to take care of my mother. So it becomes infinitely more complicated. But I know for sure that I will be in Rhode Island over Halloween because I already promised Jacqueline no matter what, I would be there for that event. And I really want you to be there with me. And then I want you to travel with me down to New Jersey. And that's going to be a splendid event. It's a 2-day event, Para Unity. I don't know what town it's in yet. I'll get that information and we'll put that out. But the one that I'm so looking forward to that is right up our alley is UFO Contact in Houghton Lake, Michigan, which I believe is the September 22nd, I believe.
20th and 21st, I've got.
Okay, 20th and 21st. Yeah, so we will be there together, and that is a spectacular event. Deb and RJ DeRusse put this together, and it just gets better every year. And this year you were there with me last year, but this year you are actually a presenter. You are speaking. It's not just me dragging you up on stage to introduce you. You get to talk about all your science stuff and anything else that you want to pry open some minds about being a bona fide space scientist. Why don't you tell people a little bit of your background? And because I noticed in that video that part of it was missing, and anybody that's not familiar with you, tell them where you come from and what your educational background is in, and how you got into, for lack of a better term, ufology.
Yeah. Well, if I take those questions in a chronological order, from a very young age, I was aware that I was very empathic. I cared deeply about others. I felt the pain of others, other people, other animals. And from a very young age, I had it in my mind that whatever I was going to do, I was going to grow up, learn, and whatever job I was going to take on, I was going to be able to help people. And it just seemed logical to me that if I want to help people, I have to, first of all, understand everything. I have to understand as much as I can about the world.
Mm-hmm.
And, I was fascinated by not just the reality that science can reveal to us, but also I was fascinated about all of those mysteries that are out there. Loch Ness Monster, why was Stonehenge built? That sort of thing. Ghosts, spirits, poltergeists, aliens. I was fascinated by all of it. And so I set about trying to learn as much about reality as I possibly could. Part of it was just, it excited me to learn about reality, but part of it also was trying to help others. And so at school, I definitely was learning about all the science I possibly could. And when I went to university, my degree was physics with space science and technology. I got a first class honors in that, which enabled me to then start a PhD in X-ray astrophysics. So I spent a year researching X-ray astrophysics using space-based X-ray telescopes. Do you remember the Hubble Space Telescope repair mission?
Yes.
Well, I was at university then, and I didn't know anything specific about the Hubble Space Telescope at all. But the BBC came to the physics and astronomy department in Leicester Space in Leicester University, and they asked, "Can we interview an expert about the Hubble Space Telescope repair mission?" And I was called into the head of the department's office, and he said, the BBC want to talk to somebody in about 3 hours about the Hubble Space Telescope repair mission. I said, I don't know anything about that. He said, well, here's the Hubble Space Telescope operating manual. Go away and read that, and then in 3 hours you can be interviewed about it. So you imagine like an instruction manual for when you buy a phone or some, and I was passed the instruction manual for the Hubble Space Telescope. That's the sort of thing that was going on with me there. And so I was continuing to learn about science, and I was also at the same time having a lot of sleep paralysis experiences. Entities were turning up and making contact with me while I was in my university sort of hall of residence. And my scientists and engineer friends around me, we were all designing and building these ghost detectors and things in my bedroom to try and record or register when something was turning up. So and also at the same time, I was going out onto a hilltops with my friends, trying to reach out to beings in peace. I've been doing all that for many decades.
Yeah. Well, for those who are not aware, when we met each other last year in Kansas City, that was a very, relatively hastily arranged event for me. Greta called me out of the blue one day and said, you want to go do this event with, I've got these two friends, April and Bettina. They're wonderful, wonderful women, and they would love to have you. And they could show at a local theater, The Conjuring, and then you could do a little Q&A after. And would you be interested in going? And you can talk about whatever you want. You can do a workshop. You can, the sky was the limit. Just, Andrea, just do whatever you want to do. It was very freewheeling. It was very easy and very open. And I happened to have that nothing booked that weekend, and it was going to be was supposed to be a quick turnaround. We ended up having to spend an extra day there, which I'm kind of grateful for, because it gave us a chance to get to know each other better. But the venue that we were in was quite large, and even though I had wandered around it a bit, I was always walking from point A to point B. And I was a woman on a mission, and I never saw you. I never saw your table, nothing. And that night, because we were having severe thunderstorms, April and Bettina brought food in for all the presenters and invited us all to gather together in a room. And Travis Walton was there, and Johnny Zaffis was there. We had a really great group of presenters for the event. They outdid themselves. And there was a very polite, quiet rap at the door. And when the door opened and I saw you, I was sitting kind of wedged between Zaphis on one side and Greta on the other. And I said, he's the reason I'm in Kansas City. He's the reason I came. And, Zaphis is like, what are you talking about? I said, just watch and learn. Okay. Just watch, Johnny. And you went around the room and you introduced yourself to everybody. And it was just all very proper and very British and very polite. And then I grabbed you and made you sit down and talked to you incessantly for about 15 to 20 minutes. I think you were breathing for me because everything just gushed out of me. And you had no idea who I was, and I had no idea who you were. And I knew you intimately well, that there was a connection between us that precedes life on Earth as we know it. That ours was a very, very close association. And part of me was a little pissed off that it took this many years, this long. I was, I think, 64 at the time. That many years and decades before we reunited here to continue our work, to continue our mission, which is practically identical, even though we come at the subject matter from totally different perspectives. I mean, my degrees are English and philosophy. And of course, part of philosophy is the deep study of logic is a part of that. Of course, I aced, by the way. I just, want to bring that to everybody's attention. And as I sat there and I just stared at you, I was like, oh my God, he's a tall white. He's not from here at all. He's like, Pleiadian. And that's my connection as well. And I found it fascinating that you didn't identify yourself that way, that you didn't really know or even necessarily ask yourself if you were connected to another race, other entities in the universe that you might have an attachment to that puts you here at this time on this planet for a very specific purpose and reason. I had kind of come to the conclusion that that was the case with me. A couple of decades ago at least. But you didn't. And I thought, well, maybe that's part of the reason that I'm in your life again, that this reunion that's occurring, whether it be a soul reunion or, a consciousness thing or, whatever it is. And we still have yet to identify it. That part of it was for me to say to you, you're not from here. You're not from here. You are on the earth, but not of the earth. And the same is true of me. And I'm comfortable with that. It took me a long time to get comfortable with that. It took me a long time not to occasionally question my own level of sanity, because as things continued to happen, when I got well past the point that I could say, was that something playing tricks with my eyes? No, that's your galactic family. Just wave, shoot them the peace sign, say hi. Invite them on down. Let's have a love fest down here. Let's all get together. And that's what we're doing. And when we are out with a group of people, the sky just lights up. It's absolutely amazing. And you use your technology that I'm not allowed to touch because I immediately suck the life out of the battery if I touch anything that's using one. I just do mine organically. I do what I do, and you record it, but you're also calling them in at the same time. And it's not that they come when we call them. They're already here. They're just making their presence known. But we also together have an innate ability to open up the people that are gathered with us, to, open their third eye, open their heart chakra, open them to the experience, to transcend any level of fear or trepidation, and just come at that experience filled with love. And I can't tell you what a difference it has made for me to feel like I'm not alone in this pilgrimage anymore.
Yeah. Our connection is definitely beyond time. And I think that the strength of it now and into the future was being felt, is and was being felt back through time to that event in Kansas City.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we both realized there's something special here. And it is very interesting that you perceived tall white connection with me. I do have a relationship with those tall white beings that live out there in the Nevada desert. We have been receiving invitations from them to go out there and to visit them. And I've had many communications with them. And we did go out there a couple of years ago into the desert and talk with them successfully. And we saw their craft, we saw them. And there are beings that are associated with me, possibly even me, in the future, reaching back to help me now.
Mm-hmm.
And so we are in a situation where it's not a simple linear progression through time of cause and effect. And when I go to events like the ones we're talking about this evening, a lot of people stop and say, "Wow, you're not human, are you?" I had that a few times last weekend. And I think you perceived that. Yeah, there's some cool stuff going on.
Yeah, there really is some cool stuff going on. And I want you to know that, for anybody that said that to you that is associated with me that I've worked with, I didn't tell anybody anything other than you need to meet Rupert. Go find Rupert. I didn't say anything about any galactic lineage, or who you are, where you're from, why you're here. None of that. It was all simply, I wanted them to experience you with a level of purity, not coloring the experience in any way. I wanted them to experience you and then tell me what they saw. Not because I need my impressions validated. It was more about understanding and perceiving their intuitive process. Each one of them.
Yeah.
What they are able to see, what they are able to perceive. You are the given. And I wanted to know if they got it, if they saw you for who you are. And everybody that I've spoken with has, and is very excited. And we're going to make films together. We're going to do a lot of projects together on into the future, because in much the way our friends Cody and Satori are able to practice numinism, to be able to communicate directly with spirit when they're together, when they touch each other. Spirit comes through and communicates through them. I've been in a multitude of sessions with them where I've seen this happen. It's an incredible, amazing thing. But with our galactic family, with conscious cosmic contact, what some people might think of as CE5, although it's a little different, we're accomplishing the same thing. It's just that we're not doing it with entities that have passed from this life into an afterlife. We're doing it with sentient, prescient beings who are circumnavigating this globe and who are actually inhabiting the planet with us.
Yes. Absolutely.
How exciting is that?
It is. It's very exciting. I don't know if you have plans for the next 9 minutes, but I do have another short video I could show if
Do we have time? Yes, it's 10:44. Yes, we have time.
Okay, so I think the message that I think both you and me would like to give to people watching this today is come to our in-person events, because there's so much magic, there's so much love, and there's so much discovery, and real contact, real connections with these beings. So I put out on the Galactic Wisdom YouTube channel just 2 or 3 days ago it's actually an hour and 5 minutes video. You saw it like pop up straight away. And but I've just taken a little clip from it so that I can show people this, and it really does just sort of outline a little bit about the kind of experience you can have if you come to our events. And the more active people are in our groups, the more that they will really start to feel how special our community is, because they really start to feel that happiness that we give to each other. We are bringing people together to experience this both online and in person. Alien contact events in Roswell. We went out into the Roswell desert and we were seeing some amazing, amazing things in the sky. But the most amazing thing was after the event, everybody else left, and I was camping there in the middle of the New Mexico desert. And in the night, I was visited. I had on the ground, in person, beings walk up to me and make their presence felt to me while I was asleep in my tent. I told them to go away because I was sleeping. I don't like people waking me up when I'm sleeping. They have to be respectful of my sleep needs. But that is the kind of thing that can happen if you want. We hosted events in the San Luis Valley, places like Zapata Falls, where there is supposedly a portal there, but we were definitely connecting with beings there. There are ant-like beings that live in Mount Blanca and in all of that chain of mountains there. We were connecting with them. We went to the UFO watchtower that is there, and we were astrally projecting to them from that distance also. We were seeing some remarkable beings. We have built up a relationship with the tall white beings that live in the desert outside of Las Vegas. We went out there and we've been doing alien contact events out there, and we've had their craft appear in the sky for us on 2 or 3 different occasions. And we received an invitation from them to go out further into the desert to get to know them better. And so what we did in 2022 is we drove out for 3 or 4 hours into the middle of that desert, and we went close to the military area, but we're not doing anything illegal. We stayed on public property. We went out there to the area where these beings live, and we communicated with them. They spoke to us, we saw them, we talked to them, and I videoed some of their vessels zooming around.
It's exciting. It's beautiful. It's magical. I had an experience very similar to that when I was in Scotland.
Oh,
In
yeah.
fact, I had a number of experiences when I was in Scotland that were life altering, truly life altering connections that just make me want to go back. And I don't have to go to Scotland to see them. I can just say, could you come visit me in Georgia, please? Save myself the expense of an airliner trip. But yeah, Rupert, this is a difficult and a challenging time for many of us. We're living through a period of high anxiety and tumultuous geopolitical and exopolitical activity. This is the paradigm shift. And we have to question, are we prepared? Are we able to rise to the occasion? Are we able to find our way out of the darkness and into the light? And that's what you and I do together. We don't ever promise anybody that they're going to have a life-altering experience. We tell them how they can. We introduce them. I tell people, you might not see them, but they see you. They know who you are. They know why you're here. And don't be surprised if you feel like you came up empty tonight, but you don't reach out to me in a week or two and go, oh my God. And what that means is that's when you had processed the experience and when you were ready to receive the communique, the messages. And it's a beautiful thing. I mean, Rupert, I got members of my own family who really worry about me. They really do. They're like, couldn't you just stick to dead people? Couldn't you just stick to dead people? Knowing full well, every member of my family has had experiences that can only be explained one way, and that is that they're contactees. But they don't want to talk about it. And they don't want to have me talk about it with anybody else because they want me to be taken seriously as a writer. And somehow in their minds, it makes it's more socially acceptable to talk about ghosts than it is to talk about our galactic family,
Mhm.
extraterrestrials. Um, it doesn't mean they don't believe that they exist. They know that they exist. They just would prefer if I not talk about it and make it my life's work and use growing up in a haunted house as like a launching pad for the kind of exposure and notoriety that I have gotten for a blockbuster feature film, which catapulted me into a position where I could talk about what I wanted to talk about, what I'm here to talk about, to be a point of light and enlightenment, and to work with you to illuminate and expand the consciousness of every person we encounter. So, God willing, I know you don't believe in God, but it's okay. It's phrase. God willing, cosmos, universe willing,
Mhm.
we will have a series of events, um, several this year, and then hopefully moving on into next year that we can travel more together and do the filming that we need to do and get this message out into the world in a profound way. This has been a pivotal year of change. This is the year of David Grush. This is the year of decorated military people coming forth and speaking their truth in a way that they never have before. And you tell me, when a panel of 3 high-ranking military officials start spilling their guts on the floor of Congress until they start talking about organic beings that and ships, vessels that we're in possession of as a country, and then suddenly it's time to usher everybody off into a room behind closed doors in a skiff and finish the conversation, but they're not hiding anything from us. We are the point of disclosure, you and me and many others who are really ordinary people who have had extraordinary events and occurrences, and are courageous enough to share them with the world. And that's what we do, plain and simple. But we are connected. We are connected in a way that is profound and significant to me. And I'm so looking forward to our adventures. So what we will promise our viewing audience tonight, as each event is coming, whether it be the masterclass in Evansville or Jasper, Indiana, or at the Bell Mansion in Fort Wayne, which is that's August 17th and 18th, respectively. And then we're going up to Michigan and want to do a gathering on Lake Huron, on Mackinac Island. We might get a room on the shore instead of, because we'll be so close at that point. We'll be so close to Sault Ste. Marie. We might as well just, or we can just camp on Lake Huron. That would be fun too. And then Upper Peninsula, Michigan, Paracon, I do believe that I'll be premiering one of my forthcoming films there this year. I hope so. Or showing the one that took top prize at the Cannes Film Festival for Beyond the Grave for Best in Genre this past year. Okay. All right. You know what, Bill? You know what? With the atomic clock already, you know what you can do with that clock? Okay, but I say that in the most loving way. But Bill's basically telling us that we're out of time. Rupert, I love you. I adore you. You are my star brother. I thank you so much for joining me tonight on the show. And thank you for all that you did to help cover from my absence, my hiatus. You're brilliant and beautiful in every way. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Andrea. I feel the same way.
Yeah, he has to say that. He has to. Okay, it's time for me to walk the dinky dogs, and all the loud bangs are gone. So, Bill, I love you, darling. I'll be in touch with you over the weekend. Rupert, I'm in touch with you constantly. And for all of you who joined us tonight on A World Awakening, peace. Be the light you wish to see in the world. Peace. Good night.